Hi, I'm Josh, and this is my Icelandic visual diary. So after a productive weekend in Barcelona, well, a semi-productive weekend in Barcelona, I embarked on a 6-day journey to Iceland. A little bit of background info. The first half of the trip I took with 4 complete strangers from 4 different countries, and we met on this carpooling site called Samfurda, which looks like it's still from 2002, and it sounds like it's a recipe for disaster, but it actually worked out perfect. So starting off from left to right, we've got Maria from Hungary, who was the happiest, friendliest person in the entire world. English was not her first language, but it wasn't too much of a problem. Then we've got John from SF, who had a penchant for penguin slides. Then we have Anya from Wales, who's just the funniest person, really great time. And even though she has a pretty heavy Welsh accent, she can still do an incredible impression of me.
We killed it today.
We've got me, I'm from Virginia. And then finally, David from Mexico, and he made this entire trip happen. He organized the group, the trip, amazing, amazing dude. It's working great. So, day 1, my flight gets in at 2:30 a.m., the absolute worst time for a flight to ever get in at. But on the bright side, I saw the northern lights on the bus ride back to my Reykjavik hostel, except those were actually the bus lights. Classic Icelandic prank. This is the hostel I stayed in Reykjavik last night, and as long as you're cool with being lulled to sleep by the sound of other people snoring, I really like the hostel life. I actually do. It's pretty clean. It's a great setup. My crew picked me up around 1, and at this point I wasn't trying to film them too much because that would be weird, and we began our trip around the Golden Circle, which is this nice little circle you can cruise around in one day. Our first stop was Pingvellir National Park, where we drank from Axararfoss, and mind my god-awful pronunciations. I shot some photos of it with my 10-stop ND filter, and the weirdest thing is, even though this place was amazing, in hindsight, it's probably the worst waterfall we saw on the entire trip. It's crazy how much Iceland can desensitize you to such natural beauty. Next, we hit some geysers, and then we hit Gullfoss, the most powerful falls that put the first one to shame. And I had to get to the very edge of the cliff on a super windy day to get this photo. Maybe not worth it. Then, on our way back to the hostel, in the dead of night, we stumbled upon Seljalandsfoss, the strangest, most incredible surprise attraction. Now I'm kind of torn on this place. On one hand, it's kind of discomforting, this weird unnatural balance between these bright permanent LED fixtures and striking nature. And I found myself calling it an attraction and joking that Iceland is secretly owned by Walt Disney, because it does sort of feel like an amusement park with the ropes and the lights. But on the other hand, it's a waterfall at night, which is, the coolest thing ever. So I'm conflicted. Finally, we end our night at the hostel, hanging out and texting our parents so they know that we're not dead. One of the perks of being clueless and having David plan this entire half of the trip is that I often had no idea what we were doing next. So when I woke up, David's like, "Do you want to climb to the top of the waterfall?" I had no idea we were even near a waterfall, but it turns out our hostel was a quarter mile away from one. So amazing way to start the day, 100-foot waterfall called Skogafoss. Next, we drove to Vik to check out this black sand beach and see this crazy rock structure called Nisdrangar. And what's crazy about this is just the diversity here. You've got glaciers, snow, and right next to the snow, an entire black sand beach, which is more like black pebbles, a church in the distance, so much to take in. And little fun fact, if you're not sold on this place, this beach was actually ranked top 10 most beautiful non-tropical beaches in the world in 1991. So there you have it. Quick stop because I saw this on the side of the road and wanted to take a photo. Shout out to everyone in the car for dealing with my garbage. Then we were off to Vatnajökull National Park for this glacier and ice caving tour. Now there are a million tours you can take in Iceland, many of them rip-offs on stuff you can do for free. For example, there's a $90 Northern Lights tour. That's a total scam. They'll still take you out even when there's a 0% chance of seeing the Northern Lights one night, but that's just how it goes. But I do think this tour put on by Glacier Guides was totally worth it, since they gave us these special shoes and took us into parts of the glacier that weren't too well marked and showed us places we wouldn't have known that we could have gone, like where to stop in the ice cave or on top of a frozen lake. We wouldn't even have known to go in the ice cave or where it was. So I'm glad we did this. One thing I thought was interesting is how this national park almost required a guide, considering it was so poorly marked, whereas the U.S. national parks are all beautifully mapped out and marked and have heavy foot traffic. And I think the key distinction is that U.S. parks are for a large part dedicated to tourism as well as conservation, whereas this park in Glacier was mostly just conservation.
John, you're a legend.
And this makes a lot of sense when you think about how the entire country of Iceland is like one big beautiful national park, so the real distinction for their national parks is just going to be preservation. Also, this is the biggest glacier in Europe outside of the Arctic and is home to many active volcanoes.
Just say goodbye.
Next off, we pull into our hostel and we see this dash of green in the sky. And suddenly that dash of green erupts into this magnificent, luminescent wave spanning the entire sky. And it's not just this thing that pops up, it actually dances, slowly growing, forming new patterns, twirling around, nature reminding you how powerful yet playful she can be. Everyone in the hostel came out to watch, and you're hearing this constant stream of oohs and ahs because it's what everyone has been waiting for. It's the most beautiful moment in my entire life, undoubtedly. I think we may have picked the most perfect hostel in the entire world for last night. This is absurd. That's like not average San Francisco people.
Like, people are just so stuck in their phones these days. I'm like, why are you just encapsulated in your phone?
Casually not stopping at a remarkable waterfall. We got some models over here.
Okay, it's gentle. I can feel it's lit.
What's his tongue feel like?
It feels nice.
See, these guys just totally know the show is over. Bye, guys. Taking a video. It's a video. It's a video. The one group shot of the trip. Ready? Send it. Yep. Is this your first snow angel?
It's working.
It's working great.
Yeah.
This is a scorpion. Did you lose your jacket right there? Day 3 was definitely more relaxed. One thing I realized though this trip was missing is even though we were seeing some of the most amazing nature of the entire world, it didn't feel like we were getting enough adventure. So I started trying to pull us off on the side of the road more often. That's what we were doing here. That's what we did to see the horses. And those stops turned out to be some of the best stops we made in Iceland. Afterwards, we dropped Maria off at the airport, grabbed some Greek food for dinner, and then hit the bars back in Reykjavik. How would you describe this bar?
What's that other word you use? Just raging at this bar. We killed it today. That was awesome.
All right, you got me. You got me. Day 4 was a bit of a wash. It was raining and hailing all day, so we chose to explore downtown Reykjavik. This is the church there, which is beautiful. Birthday to you.
It's amazing, guys.
One last random little climbing mission for David's birthday, and for his last stop before leaving for Norway. Drove around to some small towns known for having elves, which is apparently a thing they believe in Iceland. Picked up my rental car. This is my new car. Cooked a nice dinner in our hostel's communal kitchen, and then rounded out the night with a couple more bars. Hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of my Iceland voyage. A couple things I wanted to share with you. So first off, I need your opinion on what you guys think of this new format where I only film and don't vlog, and then retrospectively narrate just so I can be a little bit more reflective. I'm curious if you think it's better or worse than vlogging, if I'm wasting my time. Anything you guys have to say about this is greatly appreciated, just so I can, figure out what works. So leave a comment down below letting me know what you think of this video, and just because I like reading comments. If you want to see more of my photos, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm currently traveling all over Italy because I'm studying abroad here, so lots of photos from that. And also, if you want to see all these photos in very high quality. You can check out my website where I have lots of photo tutorials too, and all that kind of good stuff. I also sell prints. I might put a few of my Iceland photos up for sale on the site, so if there's any particular shots that you liked, let me know in the comments and I can always put it up for sale. It's super easy. A couple other things, if you're planning your own Iceland trip, the map I showed you at the beginning is amazing. That's pretty much all we use to find stuff and just pulling off randomly at places on the side of the road. So I'll put a link to the map in the description down below if you're interested. Anyway, be sure to subscribe so you're ready to see my part 2 of the Iceland trip dropping next week, and tons of more videos on skateboarding, photography, travel, everything that's good in this world. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see another one of my videos, here is a whole playlist full of all these travel videos I've been doing. And that is all I have to say. I will see you eventually.